Hello, folks. It is Friday the 13th, October. It's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon on the East Coast of the United States. I had planned to talk about inflation today and how it is about to come back in strength, but events are causing me to talk about gold. So I guess that's not really surprising. I always talk about gold. So anyway, yet another video where we're going to talk about gold. Let me share my screen and we'll jump right in. Gold price action today. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. And of course, gold is reacting today to Israel telling the Gazans, the occupants of the Gaza Strip, that they need to move south of there's a wadi. It's basically a dry riverbed that marks I don't know if it's the middle, but basically there's dry riverbed. Israel is telling all of the occupants in northern Gaza, you need to move south of that line it started within the next 24 hours. Just in the last hour or so, they've warned a hospital that they have 2 hours to evacuate, which suggests that the 24-hour period is drawing to a close, or maybe drawing to a close. And so keep in mind that Israel, in their insistence on the Gazans moving, keep in mind that the Gaza Strip currently has no water, no electricity, no gasoline, no food, no aid, no nothing. And that's been true for the last almost 3 days. And so in light of all those factors, so no gasoline, no electricity, you still need to move south of this arbitrary line that we've drawn. And of course, the assumption is that Israel's about to go in and whether they physically go in and take action or just start an air campaign, the assumption, or reasonable to assume, that their 24-hour warning is in preparation for some action that they intend to take. So anyway, that's what gold is responding to today, or reacting to would be a better way to put it. So let's look at the charts. This is gold in the daily time frame. This is COMEX gold, so the futures market. Gold is currently up $58.60. That's 3.1%. That's a huge move for gold in a single day. Typically, gold is prevented, if you believe in manipulation, or that there are entities controlling the precious metals markets. That's how you would say it, is that gold is not allowed to rise that much in a single day, and typically it doesn't. So anyway, this is a big move for gold in a single day. Note that it has pushed through the 20-day moving average, the 50-day moving average, and is currently above the 200-day moving average. So pushed through 3 significant resistance areas, potential resistance areas, all on the same day. Currently running into resistance at the top of this modified shift pitchfork. Note that we have big volume, so lots of buying volume today. A fresh buy signal in MACD as MACD comes up off of this very oversold area. Energy is very elevated. And so anyway, very bullish setup for gold. It's unfortunate that it's occurring in in this current situation, but anyway, very, very positive setup for gold at this point. We look at, this is gold spot, very similar, albeit gold has yet to push through the 200-day moving average. So just finding resistance, or dealing with resistance at that level. Also resistance at the upper median line of this shift pitchfork. buy signal in MACD, elevated energy. Silver on the COMEX, so not as dramatic action price-wise, and certainly relative to pushing through resistance. But notice that on a percentage basis, silver is up 4.2% so far today. Gold is only up 3.1%. So bigger move on a percentage basis in silver. And of course, 92 cents, that's a very large move for silver to make in a single day. But just pushing into resistance at the 50-day moving average and the lower median line of this modified shift pitchfork. So big volume again, buying volume. Fresh buy signal just occurred today. So this is a brand new buy signal from MACD, and like gold, coming up off a very oversold area, energy elevated. Keep in mind the precious metals are they're in their favorable time of the year, and so reasonable to expect that precious metals sector will continue rising into at least January. And of course, we've got geopolitics as a headwind. It's unfortunate that that's the case, but geopolitics, both the conflict in Ukraine and the current activities in the Middle East, are likely to act as a tailwind for precious metals, pushing the whole sector higher. And currently in Ukraine, although the media is not talking about it, it appears that Russia is moving. They're finally coming out of their defensive posture and taking offensive action. And so, again, the media has lost interest in the conflict in Ukraine, but it hasn't ended by any means. Russia will still accomplish their objectives in Ukraine, whether the media pays any attention to it or not. And unfortunately for Zelensky and Ukraine, the world has moved on. Certainly the U.S. Scalise has backed out of his run for the Republican Speaker of the House. It looks like Jim Jordan is the most likely replacement, and he is not pro-war. And so if you're looking for a pro-war speaker, that's not what it looks like is about to happen. So funding for Ukraine is quite likely at or very close to an end. So anyway, let's keep rolling here. Spot silver, again, pushing up into resistance at the 50-day moving average. New buy signal, that was yesterday. We got the new buy signal in MACD coming up off a oversold area, energy above mid-range. So again, positive chart here, albeit we'll have to deal with resistance at the 50-day moving average. 88 cents looks like today, 87 cents, 4% gain. So big move in silver. This is the mining stocks via my proxy, GDXJ, the junior miners ETF. Big move today, 5.4%, $1.74 or 1.74 points in this vehicle. And so that is a bullish move, pushing up into resistance at the 50-day moving average. Note that, so in gold, we got a 3% move. Silver, we got a 4% move. Mining stocks, it's 5.4%. And so that's not uncommon in the precious metals sector, where we see bigger percentage move in silver and an even bigger percentage move in the mining stocks, the precious metals stocks. So, and we can look, if we look at the US dollar, we can see that actually had a big move yesterday and continuing strength today. And so the precious metals are not reacting to a weak US dollar. The US dollar is actually strong yesterday and today. And if we look at, I didn't want to show them, there's really nothing to see. Interest rates are pretty much flat across the entire duration curve. There really hasn't been much movement yesterday or today in interest rates. And so, again, that tells us that gold action today is entirely or almost entirely based on activity in the Middle East. Inflation, which is what I was planning to talk about today, inflation is rising and will continue to rise for several reasons. The new reason that I had intended to talk about today is that some of the seasonal adjustments and ludicrous adjustments that have been made to CPI have now ended. The September CPI report is the last month where those silly inflation adjustments will have an effect. And so with next month's report, those effects, those seasonal adjustments will fall off and CPI will rise as a result of those silly machinations ending. And then, of course, the backdrop for inflation is strong. One of the points I'd like to make about the precious metals sector is that it's boring, even painful as an investor in this sector. But then when it decides to move, it tends to do so decisively. And so if you're sitting on the sidelines thinking, well, I'll wait until the sector shows that it's going to do something before I invest, you may end up in a situation like this where, you waited to invest and gold's up $58 on the day. You waited to buy mining stocks and mining stocks have gained 5.4% today. And so if you're interested in buying precious metals, perhaps a dollar cost averaging strategy makes sense, where you buy a little bit on some regular basis, but sitting on the sidelines thinking that you'll wait until it's obvious. Well, as soon as it's obvious, the whole sector tends to make these big moves like is happening today. So as far as waiting at this point, so if assuming that you are interested in buying and haven't bought yet, well, historically, price gains in gold based on geopolitics don't hold. And so if we thought that, a week from now or a month from now, the geopolitical situation was going to be less tense, it might be reasonable to wait before moving into the sector. You have to make up your own mind on this. The events in the Middle East right now don't show any indication of relaxing. I mean, we've got South Africa today is offering to mediate. The BRICS organization as a whole is offering to mediate. And so there's certainly voices, sensible voices, trying to dampen the effect of, or dampen what's going on in the Middle East right now. Whether those voices will be listened to or not is a question mark. And of course, it's a very volatile situation. A misstep at this point could easily set oil off. We've already got prior to the events in the Middle East, we had analysts predicting $150 a barrel oil, and the current events could quickly escalate to where we saw not only that $150 a barrel, but potentially even higher than that, which, of course, would throw the world economy into a tumultuous state. Let's put it that way. I'll stop talking geopolitics. This is gold.org. And so this is one of the go-to sources for gold and gold-related items in the world. This chart is showing the premium or discount that can be had right now in China. What I'm currently showing is China. You can also look at India if you're interested. This is showing the premium that we could get in China, the Shanghai Gold Exchange. So let's say we took 100 ounces of gold, jumped in our Learjet and flew over to Shanghai. We could sell that 100 ounces of gold for a $45 premium over the price we would get in New York, our local gold, our local coin shop. So anyway, this interesting chart. The premium has been as high as $121 recently, currently at 45. I'm not sure how frequently they update this chart. Probably just once every 24 hours. They are saying it's daily data, but not real-time data. So indicating that they only update it once per day. So we're not currently seeing today's and there it is right there. There's date stamp 5 October. So it looks like even though it's saying daily data, we're currently delayed by a week. So a full week in delay on this data. So that's actually a long delay given the current events. So anyway, that's all I've got in this video. Big move in the precious metal sector today. It'll be interesting to watch. Obviously, Israel is acting as if it's about to make a move into Gaza. We'll see what happens with that. And actually, I'll just keep my eye on gold because I'll be able to tell based on what kind of action we get in the gold price, what happens in the Middle East. So take care, folks. I'll talk to you soon.